Hello ladies and gents, another video brought to you by Ant Hood. And it's another video about my Pheidole Nodas and them getting another new nest. I mean, the growth of these girls is just... I can't keep up. So I decided to get the MS 5.5 from Akushi. Now this nest is designed for small species, so, and you know what Pheidoles are like, they're teeny tiny apart from the majors, and even then they're pretty small still, and they can get out of just about anything. If you give them the opportunity, boom, they've gone. And this nest is designed for small species, so I thought it'd be ideal. And it was the first nest I bought from Akushi as well, so it'll be a bit of a, is it any good, is it not good? And while we're talking about Akushi, don't forget you get a 10% discount if in the promo code you put Ant's Hood. Now I don't get anything from it, it's purely just a 10% discount for you guys. But if you're spending a bit of money, it mounts up and it's a good bit of saving, like free packaging or some stuff, so check it out. So you're probably curious, why did I need to get a new nest? And if you look at this, you can see that there is loads and loads of brood all over the place. And yes, these nests are pretty good, they maintain steady humidity, which is awesome, I really do like them, but there isn't that real space to expand and stuff like that. And I can see that there is brood piled on top of brood, which isn't necessarily ideal. And what was also a big indication is I started to notice them in the outworld having brood running around all the time like this. I've not fed, I know they take their brood to the food sometimes, but there's no food in this outworld, and I generally don't feed in this outworld because it's too small and I can't film it. So they're walking around with the brood because there's no space in the nest. They also had brood in the tunnel as well, so that is a big target indication for me that they really needed to expand, and that's why I decided to pick the Akushi nest. Now hydration for this nest is pretty easy. You've got a little excess here and you squeeze the water in, and this that plastic squirty thing comes with it, so it's easy to fill it up, so you don't need to worry about getting anything for that. Then all it does is simply absorb into the plaster that's there. The plaster's super absorbent anyway, but don't do what I did, like I see here, is I overdid it. And I overdid it and it was swimming in water. So, yes, trial and error of course, but I needed to clean it out, which is good because it gives me the opportunity to take it apart while you guys watch. As I don't want to bore you guys, I'm going to speed this up as well. It's really simple. You've got an obscene amount of screws, which is obviously because it's for small species and you want to make sure you've got a nice snug lid on top. And my nodes have been in this for a month now and none of them have escaped, so it is pretty secure. But yeah, just unscrew them all. It's pretty self-explanatory and I'm not going to talk you through it. One thing I will say about this nest, it is really easy to over water it, so be very mindful when you get this and when you put your ants in it. I would strongly recommend, strongly recommend that you do what I didn't do, which I normally do, and I don't know why I didn't do it this time, but test the humidity. Get one of those humidity reading proby thingamajiggies and then put it in there, and then you can test to see how much you need to humidify it. As you can see here, you can just lift out those plaster, is what I was looking for, parts, and you can see how much excess water I had. So it was a good thing that I took it apart to get that excess out, because otherwise it would not be good for my ants. I mean, look how many screws there is there. It's crazy how many screws is in this thing. But anyway, what you can see is once I took the plaster out is the little hole, which I'll show you in figures few. Yep, it's very rough as well, which is good because it grips the plaster. But it's quite rough, and if you can see there, that's the hole I was talking about a second ago, where the water goes in and gets absorbed in. But you don't need to put a lot of water in here to get the humidity quite high up, and I know that now, where when I first got this I didn't. So like I said, it's all about trial and error with every nest, never mind these nests, because you need to get that sweet spot for your ants and what humidity they like and stuff. But lucky for me, Nodas, which are going to go in this, obviously do like the high humidity. I will also say that this concept of having a 3D printed frame, as it were, and then putting the plaster, in this case, in it, I think it's a really good concept, to be fair, and I think it works quite well. And you see a lot of hybrid stuff going on at the moment, because I know Ant Lab has got like a wide tongue acrylic hybrid nest thing going on. I wanted to get my hands on one, haven't yet, but maybe in the future I will. I would love to try one and review it for sure. But yeah, these nests, I really do like them, I rate them, but the seal of the test is going to be with my ants, and I'll tell you all about that in a second. So you can see the current setup with the Ant Kit Air Den, which by the way, Ant Kit have started selling stuff again. Hashtag, not many people seem to know it, but it's true. So check them out. They haven't got the cool stuff like the Air Den, which I really wanted. They've got some like the old like test tube nesty, foundation nesty things and stuff like that, and some of their acrylic stuff more over than the white tongue nest that you got here. But like I said, have a look for them, you'll find them. I can't remember off the top of my head where they are. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description for you. But currently it's pretty bog standard stuff. You will see Pheidoles running around everywhere while I'm trying to do this, and the reason for that is because they're just escape artists. Littlest avenue of escape and boom they go. They just can't help themselves. But what I have done is speed it up so I don't bore you to death. So yeah, putting the cotton wool in the end is really a big thing. Also, you're going to need your outworld to be open, so if you've not got a decent barrier, I recommend you put a good barrier on that first, because you will be putting all the escapees and stuff in the end. So what I was planning on doing was put it on the main route to the main outworld from the nest. Now the main reason for that is because I still want to use the middle bit as a central highway, but have to spur off for the nest to go into. And that was the plan. So what I had to do was disconnect it, which is obviously the paint which you've seen earlier, and now I'm connecting it all up, and instantly you can see the ants are going into it to get to the nest area or the small outworld, or vice versa to the big outworld. They've got to go through it, which then kind of forces them, you could say, to explore the area. But you'll see what I mean about forcing them to do stuff later, and I'm really moving away from that now. But I'll explain that more in a bit anyway. Now after much faff, I finally got it connected, and this is what I mean by putting the nest in their super highway, as it were, because it kind of forces them to go through the nest, and they can go in and explore it, and they can have a look around in it, which like they're doing now. So then I just pop the red acrylic on, and then I kind of leave them to it, to be honest, because I don't want to force no moves. And I keep saying this in my videos, I am moving away from forcing ants to move unless I really have to. In this case, I didn't. Now as you can see here, I've still got the air den attached to the nest. It's still got its red acrylic on top of it. And the reason for that is that I want the ants to make their decision. I don't want to force them out of the ant kit nest, and to tell you the truth, I've got no interest in moving them out of it anyway. But I want them to choose. If they want to go into the Rakushi nest, they can pick up and move to Rakushi nest. If they want to stay in the air den, that's cool, it's up to them, because I don't want to stress them out. I don't want the queen to stop producing eggs because she's stressed or because they're stressed. It's pretty important for any species. You don't want to stress them out. You don't want the queen to stop producing eggs. But for Pheidoles, it's even more important. See how big this dirt pile was here? It was huge, and this is me halfway through cleaning it. And if you look as I zoomed in on the cotton bud, it is nothing but dead ants. Hundreds and hundreds of dead ants stacked on top of each other. But it's nothing to be concerned about, because Pheidoles don't generally live that long, and I think this is the issue with a lot of colonies crashing when they get posted to them. Now if you look at this trash pile again, it was big, and that had only been built up over 2 weeks since I last cleaned it out, so they die very quickly. But my population is still booming, so the queens are pumping out the eggs, and if the queens get stressed and stuff and stop producing eggs, then they die off, and I think that's what causes the crashing, through stress through postage and stuff like that. And that's why I think it's important, especially with nodas, that when you do get them through the post, you let them calm down, let them de-stress, and let them start producing eggs. Otherwise you will get a colony crash and they will die off. But that's just my speculation though. I've got nothing to prove that, it's just my thoughts on it. So I could be wrong. Now this was taken about a day after it being connected up, and you can see they've started to move in. Now they stayed towards more the drier area rather than the wetter area because I overly saturated it with water, my bad. But they've started to move the brooding and stuff like that. Then we fast forward again to a month, which was taken a little while ago actually, maybe a week ago. So about 4 weeks later, you can pretty much see they have moved into this nest. And I didn't realise how much brood they had. They've got loads. I mean, the whole area is just full of brood. In fact, we'll have a zoom in so you can see in the nest a lot better. I won't lie, I mean, when you look into the nest, the camera's really good for an iPhone. I really like it. If you just look at how much brood it is. And when I look at this now, I think, have they grown even bigger since they've been in this Rakushi nest? Potentially, but if not, the air den must have been absolutely chock-a-block with brood, and I didn't even realise it. Because they've mostly moved in here. I know there's at least 2 queens in here. The third queen I've not seen. She could be still in the air den. I could just miss her, because with nodas, their queens are practically the same size as the majors. So the only really way to check it out is to see if they're wing muscles. If they've got wing muscles, then you know it's a queen. If it doesn't like all these, then you know it's just a normal major. If I do spot the queen, I will point it out so you can notice the difference as well. I do have a lot of footage of inside the nest and them running around, and what I'll do is I'll do another hidden video style thing as well, and I'll link that in the top right corner towards the end of the video, so you can watch most of what I'm talking, the rubbish that I do spout, that I'm talking about it. Then you can click that video and check it out, and you'll see all the intricate details of inside their nest. To tell you the truth, the footage is really good. I'm looking at it now thinking, do you know what, there's some really good photos and really good images here with the brood, which is just a massive pile, and all the workers and the queens and stuff like that. So in the last footage that I've obviously cut off, and you'll see it in the hidden video, I thought I got a glimpse of some wings. Now, I've had suspicions that there may be a male in here. Oh, there's some wings there. Do you see them? Yeah, cool. Yes, got all excited. You'll see here that got a glimpse of the wings. I was like, I think there's a male there. There must be a male. There must be an elite in some shape or form. So I did check it out, and I did spend a lot of time looking for them. And I'll just fast forward it a little bit here so you can see the male in all his glory. Now, he's the only one I've noticed, but I've definitely had males before. This confirms it. I did think I'd seen a dead one. Pretty sure it was a male, but I wasn't 100% sure to see one alive. And now I know I can see this male here, that my Conley has now reached that first stage of producing reproductives. Only males, queens should hopefully come later. But what I do find quite shocking is I only got these in November time. I got them from Ants HQ. I'll put a link in their website below as well. I only got them like 7 months ago, and already they're huge. Already they're producing males, and hopefully soon they'll start producing queens. Yes, I'm never going to be able to reproduce them. Yes, I'm not going to be able to make them, but it's just a milestone for any ant keeper. Once you start getting reproductives, and then you start getting queens, and you know that your colonies, not only is it stable, but it's also doing really well, and it's a good indication that everything is cool. And I'm really chuffed, really chuffed. Now, as I alluded to before, the ants have voted with their feet when it comes to this Rakushi nest, because this is the air den now. Yes, it's normally got its red acrylic on, didn't force the move, they moved of their own accord. So no stress for them, it's like a natural movement. But if you see here, it's practically empty. There is a couple of bits of brood here and there and stuff like that, but generally it's an empty nest now with just workers. Oh, there's a queen, wow, that's the third queen then, guys. I've lost my train of thought, crumbs. And that's what I was saying. I think I've got it back now, yeah. This is what I was saying, was that don't force the move. If you don't have to force the move, don't. If the climate's right in the new nest, they will move of their own accord. It means that they won't be stressed, they won't get the pause in egg production, they won't get the potential population crash. And like I said, my air den is still hooked up, got the red acrylic on, and the Rakushi nest is all hooked up with red acrylic on. Now the conditions in my new nest are obviously ideal because they've all moved out into that, out of the air den, but the option's still there for them. And because it's been a natural move, that stress hasn't been forced through light and stuff like that, so it's all been a steady process. I would strongly recommend anybody going forward would move nests like that. If you don't have to force the move, then don't. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking rubbish. If you want to see this footage and all the other footage that I didn't use, mainly around the nest area, I think, rather than me connecting up a new nest, by all means check out the hidden video in the top right corner now, and then I'll post all these with a bit of classical music, because I love a bit of classical music, and you can check out the nest in great detail. But anyway, I'll shut up. Don't forget, guys, I've also got a Patreon page, so if you want to help support my channel like these guys have, please pop over and pick one of the tariffs where you can get free gifts and stuff like that, and that would be awesome because it helps me to continue to make videos like this. Not only is it my birthday at the end of this month, it's also my channel's birthday. On the 26th of June, my channel is 1 year old. I don't think I'm going to be able to get a video out for it, but if I can, I will. But I am on holiday myself, and then I've got the family coming round, so I probably won't get a video out, but I'll try, okay? But anyway, that's enough from me. Hopefully there'll be a video next week and the week after, but if not, I will see you when I come back. So bye-bye for now.